Hi guys, welcome to my video and my YouTube channel. My name is Ronnie and I'm working on a game called Cyberrats, and today I'm going to show you how I created the procedurally generated lighting system for all the rooms in the dungeon. So it's completely different every time you come into the same room, and it's super awesome guys. So grab a cup of coffee and some popcorn and let's begin. Okay guys, so I'm making this game where you control a rat in a procedurally generated maze. And your goal is to get out of that maze after you have collected 10 pieces of cheese, right? Super simple. And the maze is getting created by putting together a lot of rooms that I have kind of handmade, rooms and hallways. I put it into this maze system and it spits out a random maze from all these rooms and hallways I put into it. What I want to talk about in this video is the procedural lighting system for these rooms. So even though you have the same room over and over and over again, it will look completely different, all depending on the lighting, the color of the lights, the placement of the lights, things like that. And that is what I'm going to talk about today, how I created this system and how it works. Okay guys, let me try and explain how this works. We have rooms and we have objects inside the rooms. When a room spawns, it will have different settings that will be set at random, like for example the color of the room. The room can spawn with color orange, blue or green. And that means all objects inside that room, if they have anything with color that they can change, they will change that color to green. These are small details inside the room. So, a room is not completely green. There are some details on every object or some objects that will turn green if the room decides that it wants to be green. Other options that the room makes when it spawns is the lighting. Where does the lighting come from? Does it come from the ceiling? Does it come from the door? Does it come from the walls or some other pillars or other objects inside the room? So the room decides, okay, I will use lighting configuration 1, which means those are the ceiling lights, for example. And that means every light inside those rooms I can set a setting where I set which lighting configuration it is. So I make these sections of lights. And let's say a light have a lighting configuration of 2. When the room spawns and it selects lighting configuration 2, then all the lights that has that configuration will turn on. The lights have 3 other settings on top of that, which is off and white and colored. So when a room spawns, it also selects at random, will the lights in the room be white? Will they be off? Will they be colored? Right? And then all lights and objects inside the room will get information from the room and set the setting correctly. That means, for example, that a room can spawn, it will be an orange room. The lighting will come from the ceiling and the lighting is white. You can have another room that spawns, it's a blue room. It has colored light, so the lights will also be blue, and the lights come from some pillars that are standing in the center of the room. So we get all these different possibilities of lighting colors, room colors, and where the lighting comes from. It just means that one room can spawn with many different lighting conditions and colors. So it gives a lot of variation to that same room. And guys, if you want to learn how to create a procedural generated dungeon system like I have for my game, I have made the ultimate tutorial about it. So I made the tutorial based on what I have made for this game Cyberrats. So go out and check that tutorial out if you want to learn how to create systems like this. And also, while we're at it, I have made an in-depth animation tutorial on how to animate a spider walk cycle. So if you want to learn how to animate like a pro in Blender, check out this video too. There's a link to everything below. So guys, let's take a look at a room for an example here. We have a forest biome room, looks like this. And you're looking at all these point lights and thinking, what the fuck is going on here? But remember, all these lights are off to begin with. They only turn on if they have the same lighting configuration as the room decided, right? So if you look at the room options here, over to the right here, I have created two things I need to edit every time I make a room. First of all, how many lighting configurations is there in this room? In this room there are 3. If you select, this is a light. If you select these lights up here, you can see that it has lighting configuration 1. All these in the ceiling has lighting configuration 1. We have lights over here. These lights have lighting configuration 2. All these lighting configuration 2. So if the room decides the configuration needs to be 2, then these 4 lights turn off, right? If it decides room configuration 1, then the ceiling light turns off on, and the other lights turns off. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ. And this box glass container has lighting configuration 3. So if the room decides the lighting configuration 3, then these glass mantras will light up, and no other lights will light up. Not the ceiling, not these on the wall, they will just stay closed. I mean, I'm trying to explain as good as I can here. What that just means in practice is that this room will look different every time it spawns. It will have the lighting coming from different places, and it will have lighting in different colors. It will have white lights, it will have lights off. All this is decided when the room spawns, and it could be anything in between all these options. So there's a lot of different variations that this room can look, and that goes for all the rooms and hallways. Everything in this maze are using this system, so every hallway will look different even though it's the same hallway. And then I make more hallways, and then we get a super complex system where everything looks different more or less every time. You know, you can still recognize the rooms and the hallways, but they will look different even though it's the same, you know what I mean? I mean, we can try and take a run here. I put this room in to the whole maze. This is the only room that the maze can spawn now. Let's see how that looks. If it wants to compile, I don't know, maybe it's because it's Wednesday. Well, here we go. So the starting room will always look the same. Let's see, we have the glass mantras lighting up orange. Then of course we get the exact same thing here, orange glass mantra room. Let's see what else we have. We have orange here, we have other lights, light configuration 2, remember that? Here we have, it's the same room again, now all the lights are turned off. Might as well just pick up the cheese while we're here. We have a green ceiling light. See, I mean, it's the same room, but they feel different. So let's take another run through the forest biome again, this time with all 5 rooms enabled. I've only made 5 rooms for this forest biome, so let's see how that feels. Glass mantra room, it's orange. You can see the orange details on the floor and on the flower bed here. We have white lighting in the ceiling. We have a room here with white light. It's a blue room, you can see that on the color details in the room. We have a completely dark room here. Huge glass windows with a forest on the other side. Completely dark room again, blue this time. The same room as this actually, which is also blue, but has white lights. Orange room. We have this big bridge room with this walkway and railings. It has lights up there, you can see those are lights, those are turned off. They could be on and will look completely different. There's also lights at the edges, see outside the railing. There are also some lights that will light down on the trees, which will make it look even more different than with the street lights. So I mean, it creates a lot of variation, even though I only have a few simple rooms, and I think it's completely awesome, guys. But guys, this is my room lighting system in a nutshell. Let me know if there's any other features in the CyberRats that you want me to make a kind of like a spotlight video on, going a little into detail on how I created the different things. Please let me know. I need to make some videos, guys, so if you have good suggestions, bring it and I will make those videos. But that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.